is book one, Puddle Hunting in My Neighborhood. This is my second book, A Walk to the Fence. This is my third book, A Dance at the Pond. Hi family, I'm Dr. Brenda Woburiosty. I'm a licensed daycare provider, a published author of 3 children's books, an advocate, a consultant, a veteran's wife, and a mother. If you need help setting up your daycare service or just looking for great ideas to incorporate a play-based learning approach as well as learn about research-based solutions to issues impacting education, this is the channel for you. Subscribe, share, like. Thank you. This is book one, Puddle Hunting in My Neighborhood. This is my second book, A Walk to the Fence. This is my third book, A Dance at the Pond. Stay tuned if you want to know how I wrote 3 books in 1 year. So I would just like to put things in perspective. That's why I'm going to use these illustrations. I wanted to use one of those houses that I have in the classroom, but all of those houses are always like story buildings. There's always a top floor and a bottom floor. So I was like, okay, let me be creative and use these blocks right here to illustrate what I'm talking about. Okay, so we lived in a compound in a really nice street, like a middle class neighborhood, and that street was called Gapiona Street, and it was in Benin City. And if you came in our house, you came from the gate, and then let's just say that's the gate right there, and you walked in and there was like a bungalow in front and then another bungalow behind. They were connected, and these 2 bungalows, the first one the landlord lived there, and the next one we lived there, my family and I. So in my family there was my dad and my mom, and then there was my elder sister. I have another sister right after the first one, and then me right here, and then I have another sister here and a brother, then another sister. So I just have 1 brother and 5 sisters that my mom that my parents have. So we lived in this bungalow. There was a lot of space to play in the front yard, lots of space in the backyard, lots of space. There was trees, mangoes, and oranges. It was a really nice environment. And then if you walked in our bungalow, which was 1 floor. There wasn't a top floor to it. The first thing you got to was like a little dining section area. Then on the right of the dining section there was a kitchen which you had to go into, and it had a door that you could close. And then many times I remember my mom making breakfast, lunch, or dinners in that kitchen. And then after the kitchen, when you come out from the kitchen, you walk a little bit past the dining room. There was a living room section, a very nice space too, and big windows looking towards the front door that you came in through. And then if you stay right at the dining section, you'll see a door going inwards, and you go into that door. There is like a hallway, and if you get into that hallway, you'll find the first room. That was my dad's room. Right opposite my dad's room was the bathroom, and we just had 1 bath, and there was hardly water. We had to travel miles, maybe about 2 or 3 miles, depending on where we could get water from, to get water. So we had those jerry cans that we put on our heads, and or in wheelbarrows to get water. Okay, so I'm telling you guys, I have to put this in perspective, so I really have to do it like this. So when you get in the hallway, and I'm using these blocks, this first room is my dad's room, and then right beside my dad's room is another room for the kids, and right opposite of the kids' room was another room that was labeled as my mom's room, but we used it anyway. So because my mom and my dad, obviously spent their time in their room. So in my mom's room, I can't remember any storage in our room, in the room that was designated to the kids. I can't really remember any storage in there. But in my mom's room, there was this little storage system, and we called it the cupboard. And I think it was gray or blue. I really can't remember. It's been a long time. And on that cupboard, there were boxes, boxes on top of it. And those boxes, they belong to, I think, everybody. My mom's stuff was in there. Everybody's stuff was in there. And underneath those boxes was where I put my manuscripts. They were original. There were many. I can't remember how many there were, but that was a very safe place, because every time I wrote a story, because I was always continuously writing. Every time I saw a pen, a paper, I was writing. In class at elementary school, I was writing constantly. And then I wasn't writing children's stories. I was writing crime. I was writing adventure stories. I did write a story about my life and my grandmother, just all kinds of nice stories that I wrote there, and I put them underneath those boxes that were on top of the cupboard. They were and I put them under there. So every time I wrote, I put my manuscript together, I put them under there. And mind you guys, I never had access to a computer, so I couldn't type my stories in there like I have now. One time I had found an ad, and on that ad it says publish your stories for free. And I had a neighbor not too far from us, and she did some typing. She worked with a typewriter, and I think I was still in maybe I was in elementary school. And I asked her if she could type my story for me, because when I reached out to the publishing company by mail, I had to write a mail. I had to ask my mom for postage, and they gave it to me, and I posted it. I reached out to them, and they mailed me back, and they said, you need to put your manuscript together and send it to us. And those people, that company was in London. And I went to my neighbor, and I asked her if she could type my manuscript for me, and she said yes. And she charged me a little money. I can't remember how much naira, but it wasn't too much. And my mom also helped me to put the money together. And I gave it to my neighbor, and she typed my manuscript. And I think the title of that manuscript was Murder at Drawler's Bridge. I can remember vividly the title of the manuscript. And I sent it to the company, and then they sent me a bill for like £1,000 or pounds, I think. And I was like, but you said this was free. You said it was for free publishing. And there was nothing I could do. They already got my manuscript, and I could not afford to pay for it. And then at the time when I was in college, I was like, I think I can put money together and publish this. And I sent a letter back to them, and they said, I called them. I'm sorry. I found their number, and I called them, and I said, I was inquiring about my manuscript, and they said it's been too long, I think 5 years or so, or 10 years. And when manuscripts are that long here, we don't have any more records of it. We get rid of it. So that was devastating to me, because this is what happened. This cupboard, I put all my manuscripts, my original manuscripts, under the boxes, and I went to school. I left home. I went to school, And when I went to school, it was College of Education. I'm sorry if this story is getting too long, but I really have to say this to put things in perspective, so you know that sometimes you have dreams and it does look like your dreams are not going to be achieved because of events that are happening. But if you keep faith and you keep working at it, your dreams will always come true. Because my biggest dream was to publish, and that's what I am. I'm a published author of 3 books, 3 children's books, and I'm even working on some more that I'm going to publish. So I put my manuscripts there, and I went to College of Education. And one time I hardly ever came home for holidays because I had a convenient place to stay. It was nice to stay there and study and just get through that school program, which was about 3 years. And one day I came home and I was anxiously going to look under those boxes on the cupboard, and my manuscript was gone. My manuscripts were gone. And I'm sure that the least number I can remember was 10. It was a lot of stories that I would have been publishing now. They were gone. I was like, where are my manuscripts? I was frantic. And I got to find out that on one of our cleaning days, guys, when we used to clean, we had a pit in our compound, and it was a fire pit. And that was where, if there was a lot of paper, clothes, trash, that was where we put it. That was how we disposed of trash then. And I was told, oh man, all the papers that were lying around and everything, we put it in the pit and we burned them. Oh my gosh. My stories were in there. My stories were in there. Those were not just pieces of paper. Those were stories I had worked on for years. Ever since I started writing as a child, I was writing stories and putting my manuscripts together. But it was in paper. I did not have a computer, I did not have a computer to store my writing in. It was on paper. And I was devastated. For a minute, I was like, okay, I'll just move on. That kind of influenced me, because for years I wasn't writing anymore. I did write a little bit at the College of Education, but that was for school, because there were times we were asked to write stories, and I did write. College of Education was after WAEC. So during WAEC, I also wrote. When you had those comprehension essay parts where they say write a story about all that glitters is not gold, I also wrote stories. But at the College of Education, because I did English and religious studies, the English part, there were times I had to write stories for tests or for exams. So my manuscripts were gone, and for years I just wasn't feeling like writing anymore. I didn't have the motivation to write, and even till now I still think of my manuscripts, and I still have a hint of what they were and what they were about. But writers, if you're a writer, once you write something and it's destroyed, if you write it again, it's not going to be the same. It's not. There's something about the original writing that is unique, and it cannot be replicated. You cannot have a replica of the original. Once you write it, that's it. If you write it again, it's a different thing, So through the years, I went to College of Education. I finished it. Went to University of Ife. I was there. I wasn't writing, and until I came to the United States, and then I started writing again. Then my motivation and zeal to write again came up, and then I realized, things are easier here. you can easily find a writer, you can easily find a publishing system, all that kind of stuff. And I had easy access to the computer, so that gave me more motivation to write. Okay, so this aspect I want to finish like this. If you're out there and you have a dream, and you see that at the end of every video I say miracles still happens, I say dreams still come true, prayers still get answered. These are because of experiences I've been through and how I have triumphed over the years through these experiences. So if you're out here today and your mind is, I want to publish, or I want to be a doctor, or I want to be a teacher, or I want to be a dancer, don't give up on your dream. Coke has the slogan where they say persistence pays. Persistence pays off. Persistence is not a minute, it's not 2 seconds. Persistence is a long time. And if you persist and you push and you dream, it is going to come true. And if you have faith, it's going to come true. So that's a little bit of my story. I have a lot to tell, and I'm glad I had those experiences, because now those experiences I had, they're coming in very handy with my with my daycare setup. Very, very handy. And that saying that they say experience is the best teacher literally comes to life in my life. It does. Yep. So that's it about my dream to become a writer. Now let me go on to the next section. The story is one of the most important aspects of any book. Your story could be fiction, which means it's not real, it's made up. And it could be non-fiction, which means it is very real. A biography or an autobiography, for instance, is a real story of something that happened to you in life. And you could also write stories about something that's not real. Okay, so the motivation for your story can come from different places. For mine, it came from my various experiences with the children at daycare. This is where we call the pond. The title of my third book, not my last, because I still have some coming. The title of my third book is A Dance at the Pond, and this is the pond. The pond is a little bit yucky looking now, but there are times that the water is clear, you could see the water, and there's a path right by the pond that we do all kinds of activities. We walk the paths, we do insect searching, we climb these little there's a little like a little crossing that I can see, like a bridge that we climb, that we really love to explore. We get sticks and rocks, we do all kinds of things here. So this was the motivation of my third book, A Dance at the Pond. At the pond there are ducks as well. And you will see when you read the story that, what we do with the ducks. Sometimes we bring our musical instruments. We have a concert here. It's just amazing. It's an amazing story I wanted to tell. And this is real. So when you're thinking of writing a story, search for your motivation everywhere. The illustrator. Now, depending on the books you're writing, you may need an illustrator or you may not need an illustrator. Now, for children's books, illustrations are very, very important. And I think that illustrators are an amazing group of people. I love their genre. They're amazing. When I was looking for an illustrator for my books, I started looking at an artist that I knew. This artist would always post things on Facebook. I drew this, I drew that. They were beautiful paintings. I started working with that artist for a while, but that artist was not an illustrator. So I found out that my work wasn't moving anyway. So then I decided to search further. I could not use that art, although I still have them, but I couldn't use that art because I couldn't use that illustrator. And then I was looking again, I found another illustrator. I liked her work, and I found two others. And there's just something you're looking for, and I kept searching and searching until I found my last book illustrator, and I think I'm gonna keep him. That illustrator is amazing. When you want somebody to illustrate your book, that person has to be someone who will listen to your ideas and bring your pictures to life. When you're searching for that person, you have to look, and sometimes you have to experiment with others before you finally find the exact thing you're looking for. And also, you're considering cost, you're considering turnover time, and all kinds of things. So illustration is a very important aspect of the children's book genre. And in your search for an illustrator, you have to make up your mind about what you're looking for. Are you looking for 3D pictures, 4D pictures, So illustrators are very, very important in terms of children's books. And that's something for you to consider, if you're going to be writing a children's book. If you're not, you might still need illustrators for your front covers, back cover. So these are decisions you need to make while getting ready to publish. Now let's talk about another very important aspect of writing a book, the publisher. If you want to decide who's going to publish your book, you could self-publish, or you could hire a publishing company to publish your book. I don't know much about hiring a publishing company. I did it before. I tried it and it didn't really work for me. But right now I am a self-published children's book author. So which means that I get all my manuscript together, the editing, the illustrations, the writing, the plot, everything. I put it together and put it in the publishing system, and the publishing system does all the work for me. So that's the kind of publishing I chose to do, especially considering the work that I do. Now, these self-publishing companies, there are a lot out there. There's Amazon. Amazon is one of the very famous one that is out there. That's not what I'm using though. But you put your manuscript in the system already sized up with the dimensions that the system requires. You have all your illustrations, you have your words, you have everything put together, front cover, back cover, put it in the system publishes the books for you. They take like a royalty, while you get a little bit of the money that's sold from the book. Okay, so this is something you have to consider. Do you want to self-publish, or do you want to hire a publishing firm to publish your book? So this is an individual decision to make. I am self-publishing, and I will continuously self-publish because I like to do that. You can write and publish too. Here is how. Okay. Hi. Yeah, this is probably the one and only time you're gonna see me in this video. But I want to show you something. I'm gonna take you to my. Hold on. I'm gonna take you to my Instagram page, which will take us to. Okay. This is my Instagram page, and I'm gonna leave this link in the description box somewhere below, or in a pinned comment at the top. And you go to the Linktree account. This is my Linktree consulting page. This is where all the goodness is happening. So I have my merch store, have Facebook, YouTube, everything is here. My books, all the links to the best places are on this page. And then you click on the 1 hour publishing coaching session. Now, this session consists of whatever question you have about the process. I'm going to be answering it for you. We're going to talk about, probably you need somebody who you want to write your book for you. I can do that, and that's legal. It's called a ghostwriter. If you have a story and you want somebody to bring it to life, I can do that as well. I have this team with me. I have the editor, I have the illustrator, and I am the writer, and we could work on this together. You want to tell me what kind of book you're thinking of writing? Is it a children's book? Is it fiction, non-fiction? Is it crime? This is where everything is going to be discussed. Now, it costs money. The 1 hour consultation is going to be $100, and with that $100, within an hour, you can ask questions. We can talk about your plan. I can tell you the resources available. Do you want to self-publish? Do you need a publishing company? Do you need an illustrator? All of those great stuff we're going to be answering during this coaching session. So you can also see I have the daycare startups consultation. I have the questions if you want to contact me, buy my book. All my books are here. Actually, let's see book 3, for instance. I put all my Barnes and Noble pages on here. So this is the Dance at the Pond book. This is it. So this is what I wanted to show you. Go back here.
Congratulations on your first book. Now you have a writer if you cannot write it. You have an illustrator who's going to help you with the painting and the pictures and the front covers and the back cover and all the formatting. You have an editor on your side who's going to help you edit the story. What are you waiting for? Proud's voice. What are you waiting for? Drum roll, celebration on your first book and then subsequent books. Okay. If you want to go back and rewind and get all this juicy information that I left behind, please do. Every single one is important. Don't forget, you can reach me on the link that I'm going to leave in the pinned comment below, and also leave in the description page. It's also right there on my about page, because it's the direct link from Instagram. It's been amazing telling you my story. I've come a long way. I'm glad I've met amazing people in the journey of writing my stories, and I'm still writing. I'm still working with these people, and they are amazing. And I hope you reach out to me somehow, even if it's questions, just reach out to me. And don't forget, prayers get answered, miracles still happen, and every single thing is possible. I love you all, and I do want your dreams to come true. Please don't forget to subscribe, share this video, and thanks for